you're over the age of 35, stop everything you're doing right now. After a lifetime of eating fatty foods, you may run the risks of a stroke or heart attack due to plaque buildup in your veins and arteries. To learn how you can reduce your risks, visit youthfountainlab.com or call 1-800-853-7856 today. This may be a life-changing call for you or someone you love. Thank you, and we hope to hear from you.
Breaking news coming in about Dr. Umar Johnson. You see the title, right? Dr. Umar has been officially shut down by the state. They ordered Dr. Umar Johnson to stop collecting donations for the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Leadership Academy. Now, honestly, I'm not like going to sit up here and act like I'm rejoicing about this, anything like that, right? But I'll be lying to you if I say I didn't see this coming years ago. Now, just a little bit of the backstory. Let me give you guys the backstory to this a little bit before you think, oh, this guy's on here hating and whatever, right? Anybody who knows my history knows that I started off as an avid supporter of Dr. Umar Johnson. I mean, avid. I mean, my old show, I interviewed Dr. Umar. That was probably my biggest interview that I've done. You know, I used to pretty much, anytime he came close to where I live at, I would make it a point to be at his lectures. I got pictures with him. You know, I bought his book. He signed a shirt for me. So this is not coming from someone who's just somebody sitting on the sideline. This is coming from a man that I supported, you know, with my money, with my action. Like if he said be on the front line and go do this, I was gonna be there. And a lot of people know that. You can probably see old videos of me going in on people that went in on Dr. Umar Johnson. But I think where his downfall came, and I'm not saying this is the end of Dr. Umar Johnson. See, in business, right? Delegation and automation are very important. Very important. And what do I mean by delegation and automation? I mean that some things you may not be good at as a business person. Like if let's say you own a house, like you may not be the guy that's gonna fix everything around the house. You may not be the guy who's gonna do the landscaping. You can't do the plumbing, you can't do the electric work, right? But what you do is you delegate and automate. Delegate, okay, I got a landscaper that's gonna come every 2 weeks. I'm gonna pay him $50 every 2 weeks. That's delegated. That saves me time to be able to focus on what I'm good at. Okay, I'm gonna pay a plumber to come when something goes wrong, my HVAC system goes wrong. I gotta pay somebody to fix it because maybe I could probably get a tutorial on YouTube and do all that crazy stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's gonna cost me time that I don't really have. So let me focus on what I'm good at and let them focus on what they're good at. Hire the professionals to do what they're good at. And I don't think, and I could be wrong, that he ever had anyone on his team that was ever good at setting up an infrastructure for a school, right? Just because you say you was a principal, which a lot of people, they question that. That don't necessarily mean that you can start a school. Just because you was a teacher, don't necessarily mean you can start a school because there's a lot of things that go into that. Setting up the right tax shelters, setting up, making sure that you have, 3 or 4 times the amount of operating costs. A plan is what I'm trying to get to. An operating plan to say, okay, we need so and so and so to do this. We need so and so. Here's year 1. Here's year 2. Here's what the salary's gonna look like. Here's what the chairs look like. The books gonna look like. The transportation costs, the lunch, the food, the curriculum, the teacher salary. All this stuff is stuff that should be written down in an itemized plan when you're trying to embark upon something like Umar Johnson was trying to embark upon, right? You can't. This is what happens, right? When you take a very, volatile situation and try to run it, or a delicate situation, I should say, and try to run it like a fly-by-night business. This is what happens. No accountability. Nobody can see the books. Nobody know how much you made. Like this stuff right here is all red flags. Now, if there's somebody out there that's on this team, right, and you know this stuff, come forward. Maybe we're wrong about this. but it's a certain way. There were people out there that could have helped this brother do things the right way, you know. And I think just I'm not one of those guys who's happy. I'm not one of those guys who's rejoicing. None of that. I'm not rejoicing about this. All I'm saying is that I seen this coming. Now, could the situation be rectified? Yeah, probably. We talked to accountant JT Thornton. Shout out to him, pocket watching with JT, and he talked about if he was hired by Dr. Umar Johnson, that how he would try to rectify the situation. And there's all types of accountants out there that can help the situation, turn around. You're not filing taxes and things like that. And I get it. We've been there. We were never taught this, but when you're dealing with millions and millions upon millions of dollars and you're taking people's money, I just think a higher level of accountability, you know, um, this has to be in place. Now, when you look at the people that aided and abetted him, like different programs like the Breakfast Club, and you know, they helped him. They fueled his agenda, getting money and whatnot, and maybe unbeknownst to them, they helped him prey on a lot of unsuspecting people because you know it just wasn't done right. A lot of people can see that. Like people who are novice in business can see. Now I don't have any aspirations of opening a school, but certain things I just know as a businessman. And Dr. Umar may not have been the best businessman. A great orator, a great teacher, great speaker, great motivator, but not a good businessman. So that's what I was saying in the beginning. Sometimes it takes you to delegate things to other people to make sure it's done right and it's done effectively so you can continue to do what you do. Keep speaking, keep traveling, but make sure you got a board in place. Make sure you got, someone who's gonna oversee the money. Make sure you got an accountant in place. Make sure you got somebody who's gonna oversee that the taxes are done right. Make sure you have somebody advisor to say, okay, look, it's time to pull the plug on this. Let's sell a building. Let's turn it into this more lucrative. You know. So I just, when we see, okay, something of that magnitude, you talk about something that's going to take millions of dollars, millions of dollars, right, to try to, maintain every year. Teacher salaries and insurance for the school and maintenance and electricity is probably a crazy bill for a building like that. All this stuff should have been on paper. And the crazy part about it, right? I'm gonna close on this, is that he could have got help from businessmen with bank. I would have gave Umar whatever. I would have gave him 10, 5K if I can get a write off. Other businessmen would have he probably would have got the money if he moved in the right way. But people can't get the write offs, and your status is revoked. So now your people giving money, and then it's like there's a conflict of interest because you telling the IRS you ain't get nothing, and they writing down that they donated 20 grand to you. It's a conflict of interest. It's just bad business, and we all seen people who have done bad business over our lifetime, right? So they shut him down. The state said that the state of Pennsylvania said he cannot, um, you know, take donations for the FDMG Academy. Now, obviously, there's loopholes and things around that, but I think Dr. Umar, it's a very fine line now because you don't want to get to a point where now you got the FBI looking at you, the IRS, and things looking at you and stuff like that. You don't want to get to that point now because now it's like, okay, money laundering comes in there, things like that, fraud, mail fraud. There's a whole bunch of things that get attached to. So my advice in closing would be go get an accountant, build that team. Maybe it's not too late. Get everything in order so things can be on the up and up. And then maybe people that you weren't able to get to donate before may donate. I mean, I'm done. I would never donate now at this point. It's been too many years of incompetency. But I don't want the man to fail. I don't want to see the man in prison, right? But I'm gonna digress. Leave a comment below. Make sure you guys share the video. You're locked in Hip Hop News Uncensored, man. Your source for all things hip hop, and everything else. Share the video, like the video. Make sure you guys subscribe to Hip Hop News Uncensored, the red button right there. Hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit the notification bell. Select the option that says get all notifications from this channel. It's your boy Oga, man. Over and out. Peace.